say, well, how do you reverse that results? And you're not talking about massive changes to things other than what we did on the defensive end. You know, that they found their way to the basket way too many times. We had a goal about defending the three-point line. And I think by and large we did a reasonable job of that. Ironically, not in the last play, but throughout the game, I think we did a good job of it. But we might have been too three-point conscious, and how we played the pick and roll needs to be better. They got to the basket way too easily. Our rotations were challenged a lot of the times, where sometimes it might not have been the next pass, it was the one after that, because of our rotations and how we were handling the initial stage that was causing the problems down the chain. So it was disappointing. There's a lot of good things that happened, but we've got to acknowledge that our opponents are really, really good. You know, they are an outstanding team. And it's a bit misleading because of some of the injuries that they've had, but they are a very, very talented team. Casper's very, very good, and clearly can play in the crisis as well, with a huge shot down there. You know, in hindsight, you second guess yourself. I guess myself. In hindsight, maybe you have a bigger on him, but Kevin, I thought, did an outstanding job on Chris throughout most of the game, made life real tough for him. So I wanted Kevin on him. You know, in hindsight, I probably should have put Brad on Casper no, Brad on Casper. That's my decision. In the heat of the moment, I didn't. But I thought Jason. I said to the guys, prophetic words. I said to the guys, don't get beat on any slips. Don't get beat on any drives to the basket. If they carry a hand and they shoot over you and they make a shot shooting over a hand, we shake their hand and say, well done. Well, bugger me, we shook their hand and say, well done, because they were able to exactly do that. So, if you had your time over again, I should have had Newells on him, a bigger guy, but wasn't to be.
So did you know that last shot was going to be Casper's?
No, because originally I told the fellas, I said, there'll be a stagger for Golding, and we had that. Kev, there was a stagger for Golding. I didn't know which side it was coming from. They clearly they would set up a play for our end line. Maybe they thought we had choices, but it was they advanced the ball, and they went to their regular stagger play, and then it just became a broken. We kept it out of Golding's hands. Kev did a great job of getting it through. Went to Casper, and conscious of the drive, he pulls up and hits a three right in our eye. So, Jace was there, carried a hand, good offense, beat okay defense.
Brad, so how frustrating was that loss?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we're in the game right at the end was probably a positive thing, but I was just disappointed. You play hard and you lose. I was probably showing my frustration a little bit. I shouldn't probably do that, but that's who I am. I'm a character like that, so that happens a bit. But yeah, it's a tough loss, because we get up tonight, we go home, we have a good crack at home. We're a couple of games clear at top. To their credit, they played very well. We gave up 95 points in a 40-minute game. That's probably too many. And we'll look at the tape, and we can't dwell too long because we've got another game Monday night.
What sort of influence did the foul trouble Marich got into had?
Well, Josh was giving us a real good offensive threat down the other end. Those two have different skill sets, and we would like to have had Alex a little bit more, and I was tempted to maybe early on in the fourth, but we needed points. And he was working really well on the pick and roll. Whenever we got him down low, either on a sideline pick and roll, not a little bit in the middle pick and roll, but particularly on the sideline pick and rolls, these guys with Newells coming off, being able to get in their head and shoulders past them, we had some looks down low, and he was finishing. He's finishing around the basket. So I decided to roll the dice and stay with Powell a lot longer than we normally would, mainly because we were trailing and we needed points. Down the other end of the floor, in a game where you lose at the buzzer, there's those little moments. I think twice on free throws we gave up rebounds. Once was for a three. That and the penetration. One of them you say, well, Casper throws a rainbow up there, just a hell of a play. We got to try and stop him from getting that deep. But just a hell of a play. But there was too many times when they were just driving and there was zero help. And again, uncontested layups. So there was too many times when that happened. It's going to happen occasionally because, your defense will break down, those types of things. But it just happened too much in a game that's where the balance, there's no margin. They're the little ones that sort of you see a little bit more regularly and say, well, if we had to stop a couple of those, we might have been in a better position.
During your final offensive possession, did you suggest the shot fake?
No. I suggested to shoot it. It was a middle pick and roll with a rescreen for Greg. We didn't
give it away.
No, it was a middle pick and roll. So Kev coming off looking for the straight up three. Josh was supposed to rescreen Greg for the flare, for the shot. If not, going to Newell's on the other side for the three, for the dribble handoff. So we had three different phases of it. But Kev, just with his experience, little head fake, beautiful play. And I wish I could take credit for it, but the action I can take credit for, but the skill and the way in which it's delivered, that was just Kev being a really experienced guy in those circumstances and getting a good scoring opportunity. And then they aren't easy free throws to make, no matter how good you are. There's a lot of pressure on those when you're three down to tie it, and he did really well to knock them all in. And then there we just weren't able to get it done.
When you played these guys 2 weeks ago, there was no Golden, no Casper. Tonight, obviously, they both played. How much did that change things going up against the same team, but it's almost a different team in a way with those two guys in the backcourt? Did that change things in your preparation throughout the game?
Yeah, it did. Well, of course, because you're talking about not just the two very, very significant players, and it only gets better when Blanchfield comes back. It's not necessarily highly sophisticated. Like we try and run a lot of cuts and a lot of action to get into on balls. Or we have some action away from the ball on pin downs and those types of things. They do it, but they get to the point a whole lot quicker. So their action comes a whole lot quicker. Spread the floor, get in on an on ball, shoot it and make it, or throw it to the roll-off guy and make it, or give it down to the block. And then if it's not on, the quick relay on the other side to do it on the other side. It's tough to guard. It's tough to guard when you've got highly skilled players in it. And this game, in the first game, Barlow's 1 of 8. He comes out and makes 3 threes. Those shots were there for him last time. He just didn't make them. He makes them tonight. Casper, with his ability to create off the dribble and get into the paint, makes life pretty tough. And, of course, Chris is one of the best players in the competition. And I think we cut it to 3 one time or something. He comes off that one and throws one, a tough shot, and it's nothing but the bottom of the net. So it does change the way in which you've got to play. And like I said from the start, I think what it did is we were so, and that might be my doing as well, we were very conscious of guarding the three-point line. And unfortunately, we got exposed in other areas. You can't give up 95 points is too many. It's great fun. And it's exciting. I think it makes it for a great brand of basketball. It seemed that way to me, although we lost. But a lot of skill, a lot of scoring, and it's an exciting brand. But it's a lot more exciting when you win in those games.
What did you think of Brad's performance tonight? He some tough shots.
You know what? It's hard for Brad because it's the norm now. It's the norm for what he's doing this season. His shooting has been exceptional. The way he can get to the basket is very, very tough to guard. The work on the glass, and the way he sees the floor, he plays with a great IQ, and he's on the defensive end with his athleticism, he's working his ass off down the other end of the floor. So, he's been extraordinarily good for us, but we're only not quite halfway, so we've got a long way to go. And like I said, that's the norm. And if we can keep dishing 10 or 15 up, we'll accept that, no problems. But no, it's fantastic.
Niels, that look you had towards the end in transition on your right hand, you looked really frustrated after missing that. Was there contact, or did you just feel like you had a good look and could have made it?
I felt like I just got it off. Look, I thought it was in, and I just rimmed out. I knew Majuk was going to take a swing at it, and I knew even if I put it up there, I thought Josh might be able to get it because he had a smaller guy on him. But we missed out on that. But lucky enough, we come down the other end and get a stop, and we had a chance to win the game. So, yeah.
And we might be getting you in trouble a little bit here. Were you that frustrated at some of the referees?
I think it's one of those ones you just got to look back and have a look at it and assess it. It's not appropriate. I don't want the refs. I don't want to discredit Melbourne United at all and say the refs had anything to do with it. They thoroughly earned their win. So, they're doing their best. We'll have a look at it. There might have been some that went our way, some that went their way. Que sera, sera. I don't think that we can. I certainly, in no way, shape, or form, put that loss down to the officiating in any capacity.